What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Sakura turns Naruto into a girl? If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments. And also check the description to original creator of this beautiful creation. And so this was how Naruto found himself, 3 days later, sitting on a bar stool in one of the nicer parts of town, disguised as a girl, waiting for Neji to show up. The plan was pretty simple. Shikamaru had invited Neji to the bar on the pretext of wanting to talk about something, but Shikamaru wasn't going to show, and that would give Naruto a chance to bump into Neji and start chatting, while Neji waited. It was still about 10 minutes to the time Shikamaru had set. Naruto had gotten into place early. The instructions 10-10, Ino, Sakura and Hinata had pounded into him had been specific. Everyone, Naruto thought, had really gotten a kick out of giving him instructions on how to be a girl. The first step had been to modify the Waijutsu into something a little more realistic. Actually, the boys had been more involved in this step than the girls. The whole process had mainly involved Naruto performing the jutsu over and over again, slightly modifying it each time. They had found a quiet training site on the edge of town to do this part of the work. Bigger boobs, Kiba remarked. No, don't be stupid, Sakura elbowed him. They're too big already. No girl actually has boobs that big. That's like, she gestured in the air, trying to estimate the size, a triple D. Naruto, go down to a C. The naked blonde bombshell in front of them looked down at her chest doubtfully. Okay, Sakura, but what size is a C? No, go even smaller than that, 10-10 instructed. Do like a big B cup. I think Neji likes smaller girls. He likes girls who are slender, and not, too bulky. Naruto sighed. With a poof he returned to his own body. Can you, draw a picture of something? Kiba and 10-10 hunched over a piece of paper. Shikamaru looked on while they drew. Finally Kiba held up the finished product. Like this, he said proudly. Naruto looked at the figure they had drawn, which was basically a stick figure with boobs and a little bit of an ass. His eyes narrowed. Like that, huh? No, that's ridiculous, Shikamaru said. Naruto, take the Why no Jutsu. Shave about 3 inches off her height, make the boobs, the size of Ino's, and the butt, like Hinata's, and the legs, like Kurenai-sensei's, and the face more like the Rokudame's. Kiba interrupted, which earned him an odd look from everyone. And the skin like Sasuke's, Choji said, which earned him an even odder look. I'm just saying, he mumbled. No, that's true, Sasuke does have very good skin, Ino said, authoritatively. Naruto, try to make the face kind of like Sasuke's. No, said Shikamaru, who had somehow become the expert. Keep the face like you have it, but just get rid of those damn whiskers. Naruto looked carefully at Hinata's ass and Ino's rack for a moment. Okay, I think I've got it, he said, and concentrated. Poof. A very plausible, hot chick stood naked before them. Big boobs, but not over the top. A nice curvy figure, long blonde hair and blue eyes. Skin a shade lighter than Naruto's. All the guys gawked for an instant, and then started congratulating each other. We did it. He's perfect. Neji will totally fall for it. Now all we have to do, Shikamaru said, rubbing his chin sagely, is find some clothes. Come on, guys, shouted Kiba. Ino, Sakura, Hinata, and 10-10 were left behind momentarily. Ino had crossed her arms over her cheek, and Hinata was worriedly trying to peer over her shoulder. Does anyone else feel a little grossed out? Asked Ino. All 4 girls nodded. Well, we better help them anyway, 10-10 said. Otherwise they'll dress him up like a dime store hooker. They nodded and started following after the guys. Only Sakura stood behind. Hey, she called. Hey, how come they didn't want to use any of my body parts? Hey, guys. She jogged to catch up with the group. And so, there Naruto sat, by himself at the bar, sipping lemonade, drinking alcohol would just take away his edge, and waiting for Neji to show up so that he could test out his flirting skills. The outfit that he was wearing had ultimately ended up owing more to the girls than the boys, who, after all, knew a lot more about fashion in the first place. 10-10 said that Neji liked girls who were feminine, demure, and a little old-fashioned. He likes girls that will gaze up at him with adoring eyes, had been her exact words. And so the girls had gone with an outfit that was girly and cute. A dress with a pink flower pattern, that ended just above her knees. We want you to look like a good girl, but not too good, Ino explained. And a short fuzzy pink sweater type thing that made his neck itch, and a pair of white strappy sandals. Hinata had assured him that Neji would not be able to see through this trick unless he activated his Byakugan, which he should have no good reason to do. Besides, even if Neji could tell that it was an illusion, it wouldn't be like anyone else on the street could. Naruto turned around his bar stool and surveyed the room. From behind a curtain in the back, Kiba gave him a thumbs-up sign. Don't get caught, you guys, Naruto thought. It didn't seem like Neji still hadn't shown up yet. Sighing, Naruto swung back around to the bar. Hey, little lady, said a voice next to him. What? Naruto looked at the guy next to him. An ugly guy with a bad haircut was leaning over, looking at him with concern. Are you alright? You look upset. What in world? Naruto thought, before it hit him. Is this guy trying to hit on me? He felt the bile rising in his throat. No, I'm fine, he said, shortly. Oh, hey, don't be like that. You keep looking for someone, right? Did you get stood up? Naruto leveled a more serious look at the guy. He looked kind of unusual. One of those nins who had sacrificed the normalcy of their bodies for some kind of increased power. The man's skin was mottled, gray, and covered in hard warts or calluses of some kind. Around his face the skin was smoother, as the warts gave way to scabby bumps that resembled, more than anything, a case of bad acne. Should I whack him, or something? Naruto wondered. I don't want this guy to be buzzing around when Neji, out of the corner of his eye, he saw a swish of black hair and white eyes. Neji had just entered the bar. Wait, Naruto thought, maybe I can get Neji to rescue me from this loser, that would be a pretty good setup. Turning his eyes back to the guy, he tried to work up tears in the corner of his eyes. Yes, he said, doing his best to look weak and pathetic. My boyfriend just broke up with me. I asked him to come here and meet me, but it looks like he couldn't even be bothered to do that for me. What kind of a guy would do that? The guy sounded affronted. Who could ever break up with a girl as pretty as you? His breath smelled pretty boozy, Naruto noted. Let me buy you a drink. Oh, no thank you, Naruto said, daintily, now trying desperately to catch Neji's eye. I'm not much of a drinker. Oh, just one, you'll feel better. The man motioned to the bartender. My name is Akito, by the way. Akito-san, I don't know how to say this, but... Naruto's mind was working fast. I want to get into a fight with him, or something, he thought. If this Akito guy gets violent with a girl in a bar, Neji'll definitely come to the rescue. He bowed his head. I'm sorry, Akito-san. I'm not interested in ugly guys like you. Akito looked stunned for a moment. Did it work? Naruto wondered. Is he gonna get pissed off now? Just for good measure, he threw in, you know, your face looks like it's been through a blender, and what's with that hair, anyway? Unconsciously he started using that tone of voice Sakura always slipped into when she was at her cruelest. Naruto slid another side glance over at where Neji was sitting. Come rescue me, idiot? Instead of getting upset, though, the guy called Akito seemed to have decided to overlook the comment. He slapped his hand on his knee and threw his head back laughing. You're a feisty one, aren't you? What's your name, anyway? Kumiko, Honda Kumiko, he muttered, falling back on the fake names Sakura and Ino had prepared. Nay, Kumiko-chan, you want to know a secret? Akito brought his face closer hers. No, thank you. The temptation to break this guy's face was getting stronger and stronger, but Naruto knew for a fact that Neji hated violent girls, and so he definitely had to keep up the shrinking violet act. He put his hands in front of his chest to hold Akito back a little bit. Wow, he thought, being a girl actually can suck. He could be a little rude, but only if Neji couldn't overhear. I'm a spy, Akito drawled. Well, that's nice. But keep in mind that this is a ninja village. Akito looked blank. We're all spies, moron. To his surprise, Akito laughed again. Nope, Kumiko. Mind if I call you Kumiko? See, I'm spying on the spies. He puffed up. Pretty impressive, huh? I bet you wanna date me now. If Naruto couldn't beat Akito up, he thought, maybe he could beat himself up. Bang his head against the counter of the bar so that he wouldn't have to listen to this anymore. He looked over Akito's shoulder and saw Kiba gesturing frantically at him, some sort of sign that meant, what are you doing, idiot? When he turned, he saw that Neji was getting up to go. Damn, couldn't you at least have ordered one drink, idiot? He growled. Are you ready for another one? Akito asked helpfully. Oh, tee-hee. No? Anyway, my mission's pretty important. I'm gathering information about the hidden leaf to take back to my leaders. It's all pretty complicated political stuff. Wow, that's, great. Naruto was edging off the bar stool when Aikido grabbed his arm. It was wide, Naruto noted, and the grip was strong, and it was covered in some sort of warts. I can get your number, right? Neji was gone. He had missed him. Damn. Fine, Naruto mumbled. He looked around for a pen and scrawled his number on bar napkin Aikido handed him. I just have to go, okay? Once he had the number, Aikido seemed satisfied. He waved cheerfully as Naruto backed out of the bar. Don't worry, Kumiko-chan. He shouted. I'll definitely make you forget about your worthless ex. As the door closed behind him, Naruto breathed a huge sigh of relief. Then he hastily looked up and down the street. No good, Neji was totally gone. Naruto. You moron, what were you doing in there? Kiba, Shikamaru, Ino and Sakura came out. You don't understand? Naruto whined. I couldn't get away, that guy was like a giant parasite. He shuddered. He was awful. You couldn't just push him off? Kiba said. Ino started giggling. He totally was all over you. Poor Naruto. We just made you too pretty for your own good. I guess our prank failed, then. Shikamaru shrugged. We'll think up something else, some other time. If it's not too troublesome? Ino teased. It's too troublesome, he replied. That was on Friday night. Shikamaru and the gang had opted to go grab a drink somewhere, but Naruto, who was tired, pissed off, and whose feet were getting sore in the flats, opted to go home instead. Cross-dressing, he decided, was definitely not his thing. No way would he get talked into some kind of dumb stunt like that again. He walked down the street towards his apartment slowly. They had opted for a high-end bar with Neji, and unfortunately his place was on the complete opposite side of town. Worse, he had to maintain the illusion until he got back, unless he wanted to do the walk as a guy in girl's clothing. Dobi. Sasuke? Damn, he must really be spacing out if he hadn't even noticed his teammate approaching. Why are you here? On my way home. Sasuke looked him up and down, and smirked. Yeah, I know, Naruto said. Don't even say it. It was a bad idea, I admit. He paused. How could you tell it was me, though? Instead of answering, Sasuke briefly activated his Sharingan. Since returning to Leaf half a year before, Sasuke was still strange. Too serious, too quiet. Naruto had tried being friendly with him, had tried picking fights with him, had tried every method of irritating the Uchiha he could think of, just to get a reaction. But Sasuke after years with Orochimaru apparently couldn't even be bothered to rise to these kinds of childish taunts. Naruto wasn't used to spending time with another person without interacting with them at all. Not talking, not doing things together, just sharing space. But this was all it seemed possible to do with Sasuke. He knew, because of events right after Sasuke had returned, that Sasuke considered Naruto his best friend and was grateful. Sasuke had managed to say those things to him, just once. It was just that Sasuke wasn't able to be much of a friend to anyone these days. They mostly just spent time together on missions, during which they worked well together, surprisingly well, because working with Naruto rarely lent itself to smooth operations, but with Sasuke it did. Sometimes Naruto and Sakura managed to talk him into lunch, sometimes they dragged him to social events. He didn't really seem to enjoy them, but Sakura and Naruto had talked, and they felt that the only thing they could really offer was to make themselves available. Sakura had waited, hoped for a long time, that Sasuke would choose her. Years. Therefore, Naruto had been shocked, when, not long before Sasuke had returned, she finally announced that she was dating Lee. Naruto had regarded it as a kind of betrayal. Everyone was moving on, he felt, forgetting about Sasuke, even Sakura. They had fought about it, angrily, desperately, late at night outside of Ino's flower shop. I'll still do everything, anything, to make him come back. Sakura had said, my being with Lee doesn't change anything. My wanting Sasuke to come back shouldn't be about me wishing for some fairy tale dream of romance with him. At least I can say for certain now. I want Sasuke to come back for himself. I don't want him to come back for selfish reasons. She had broken down, crying, on the road. Naruto had knelt beside her, unsure what to do, unsure whether he accepted her logic or not. It didn't matter, he decided. Sakura was his friend, as much as Sasuke was, and he had to accept her as she was. He had helped her walk home, and left her a block from her house because Sakura's parents still hated Naruto and didn't accept him. "I thought you should know," Sakura had said. She hadn't looked at him. If it hadn't been for Sasuke, for having Sasuke between us. She had looked back at him, and tried to smile. "I would have chosen you. I mean, if we didn't have all this history. I don't think we could be happy if we were together and still thinking of Sasuke, still looking for him, it wouldn't work out." Naruto didn't tell her that he hadn't wanted to be with her for a long time. He had given her up, first because he thought that he was giving her up to Sasuke, and then because her friendship seemed like the only thing from the old days that was left, and he didn't want to tamper with it. Sakura, he had said, and he had smiled, more genuinely than she could have, under the same circumstances. Be happy. Did she regret it, after Sasuke had come back? She didn't seem to. She never mentioned it. Naruto thought Sasuke seemed slightly relieved to realize that she didn't have any expectations left for him to fulfill, or disappoint. When he thought about it, really, a good portion of Sasuke's life had already been screwed up because of other people's expectations. He glanced over at the black-haired boy, who was still walking beside him, not speaking. He must be dying with curiosity to know how I ended up dressed up like this, Naruto thought. How could he not? Even being an Uchiha, wanting to know would just be human nature. "Hey, Sasuke," he said, and started to relate the whole story, from where Shikamaru and Kiba had come up with their brilliant idea to where the guy at the bar started hitting on him and wouldn't let him go. Somewhere around the part where the guy asked for Naruto's number, Sasuke started laughing. Naruto had been startled, but tried not to show it, and went on with the story. By the time he lost Neji, Sasuke was doubled over, almost rolling in the road. "Oh my god, Sasuke," Naruto said. "I don't think I've ever seen you laugh so hard. Not even when you were a little kid in school." "I know," Sasuke said. "I know." And he laughed for a couple of minutes more. "You want to come up for a cup of ramen?" Naruto said, when they reached his apartment. Sasuke nodded. Naruto put on the water, and then went to his bedroom to take off his dress and makeup. He changed into his usual orange jumpsuit. "Man," he said, coming back into the kitchen and pouring the water over the instant noodles. "That feels so much better." Sasuke just looked at him, and Naruto thought he saw the corners of Sasuke's mouth twitch. "Don't start laughing again, Teme," he ordered. It would take a while to say for sure, he thought, but slowly some kind of real friendship was reforming with Sasuke. He let Sasuke sleep on the couch because it seemed like too much trouble for him to go back across town to his own place. Besides, they didn't have any mission tomorrow morning. Since Sasuke was on the couch, he was closer to the phone, and it just happened that he was the one who picked up when someone called, very early, the following morning. The voice on the other end was gruff, but nervousness tempered the gruffness a little. If Sasuke had been a little more awake, or a little less annoyed at being woken so early, it might have sounded familiar. Is Kumiko-chan there?" the person on the other end of the line asked. "No," said Sasuke, firmly, and hung up. 20 seconds later, the phone started ringing again. Sasuke glared at, considered not picking up, and then recalled that Naruto was still sleeping in the other room. He picked up the receiver again. "Kumiko-chan?" the voice said, hopefully. "You have," said Sasuke, through gritted teeth, "the wrong number." He hung up again. The phone started ringing a third time. Somewhere on the other side of the village, the man named Akira was checking over each number on a cocktail napkin carefully, making sure he hadn't misread any digits. Naruto wandered in from the bedroom just in time to hear Sasuke saying, into the receiver, "Oh, that Kumiko-chan. No, she can't come to the phone right now. She's too exhausted, because last night I fucked her silly." Naruto felt his face pale a little bit. "Sasuke," he asked presently. "Who were you talking to?" "Oh, just some moron who had the wrong number. He called 3 times. "Oh," said Naruto. The next day, Team 7 had been instructed to gather, promptly at 8 o'clock, in the Hokage's office. Promptly had been emphasized several times, but that didn't prevent Kakashi from being 20 minutes late. "I had to, help a kitten cross a road?" Sakura supplied helpfully. "Rescue a baby from a burning building?" asked Naruto. Sasuke didn't say anything. The Hokage sighed. "Well, now that you're all assembled," she said, and tossed a picture across the desk for Kakashi to look at. "This man," she said, "is a dangerous criminal. He was formerly working for Orochimaru." She refrained from looking at Sasuke, and we think he slipped away from the hidden sound village before it was destroyed. In fact, he's not a very powerful ninja per se, but we believe that he managed to steal some important information before he left Sound, and furthermore that he may have come to Konoha recently for some purpose, in order to gather more. I need your team too. Good lord, Naruto, Sakura, why are you two gaping like that? Kakashi had glanced over the photo and passed it to Sasuke, who had recognized it as being a shinobi from Sound, not one he had tagged as being important or interesting. He had passed the picture on to Sakura, who had glanced at it, then glanced at it again, more carefully, and was now leaning over to Naruto and whispering, "Hey, isn't that the guy from the other night who—" And Naruto was looking distinctly green. "Akira," he mumbled. Naruto had seen Sasuke laughing yesterday. Now Sakura, Kakashi, and the Hokage got to appreciate the weirdness of it too. Actually, they were all pretty much too busy laughing at the same time to really notice. "You're telling me," the Hokage said, between giggles, "that you, last night, Naruto, went out, disguised as a girl, this criminal we have been trying to apprehend, tried to pick you up, and now won't stop." Her laughter caused her to start hiccuping, calling. Naruto decided not to dignify this with a response, especially since he had already explained the whole thing twice. "Well, it makes sense," said Kakashi, who was sufficiently recovered to have started reading the information they had gathered about the criminal. "Oh, Akira? See? It says that his major weakness is women. It seems he gets infatuated, and— His eyes slid down the page. "Actually, this doesn't look that good." He looked at Naruto, and seemed to be smiling under his mask. "Luckily, Naruto, I think you're a lot stronger, so you can probably fight him off." "What does it say?" Sakura pulled the dossier away from Kakashi. "Oh gross. It says he eviscerated his last girlfriend after he caught her cheating on him." "Don't worry, Naruto." She put her hand on his shoulder. "We'll protect you, so it's okay." "It's fine, Sakura," Naruto said in annoyance. "I'm never going to use that disguise again anyway, and I don't need protection, so—" "Damn it, Sasuke, Teme, will you stop laughing at me already?" Said Tsunade, thoughtfully. "This raises a lot of interesting possibilities, though, don't you think, Kakashi-san?" Kakashi looked lazy. "I don't know. What do you have in mind?" "Well, my original plan was to tell you four to go out, capture this man, and then bring him back here, for interrogation. But what Naruto is saying is that, with no provocation whatsoever, Ohor spilled all kinds of secrets about his mission last night to Naruto, excuse me, Kumiko, just because he wanted to impress her. So maybe, as they say, you can catch more flies with honey than with vinegar." This was enough of a hint of what she had in mind for Sasuke to catch her meaning, and start smirking again. Naruto thought about it and began to turn green. "No, you old bag, listen. You old bag?" Tsunade raised one eyebrow. "Don't you think, Kumiko-chan, you should be a little more polite to people who have control over your missions?" Changes in missions involved logistical challenges as well. For one thing, even though Ohor Akira didn't seem to the brightest bulb, even he was likely to notice a simple jutsu like the Waijutsu and see through it when he wasn't drunk. And, a bigger challenge, Tsunade explained, was that she suspected he had superiors hiding in towns near Konoha, higher-ups in the sound hierarchy who were waiting for him to report back to him. If any of them got a whiff of Kumiko, well. Luckily, said Tsunade, leading Naruto and Team 7 through the hallways of Konoha hospitals, you have twice the chakra of an average ninja, and we can take advantage of that. What do you mean? Naruto said, cautiously. Here, Tsunade opened the door to an examining room. Everyone sit down. Sakura, this'll be good training for you too. Okay. Naruto, show me, Kumiko. Naruto muttered a few rude things under his breath, but with a sigh performed the jutsu. Good, good, Tsunade said, looking the form over. More realistic than that busty girl you usually do. A little shorter than you, though, we'll have to change that, okay? She started looking through the scrolls she had brought with her. That is what we're going to do. Sakura, Naruto, and Kakashi looked over the scroll curiously. And this is? Sakura asked. A jutsu usually used by male nins when they want to get pregnant. No, said Naruto. No, 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 no. Damn it, Tsunade, I'll go and cut off that guy's head right now. I am not doing this. Just relax. Nobody's getting you pregnant. This is just a way of making your body take on the female shape without it being an illusion. Also, you won't have to consciously maintain it. In other words, Tsunade pointed a finger at him. You'll stay in female form while you sleep, and the amount of chakra needed to maintain the form should be less. And, she stressed, no one looking at you, even Sasuke, or a Hyuga, will be able to tell that you aren't genuine, 100 female. Yuppie. Naruto mumbled, don't be so difficult, most people can't even do this jutsu. She tried to persuade him. It takes someone super strong, this is like a special technique only you can handle, Naruto. Quote, the blonde's eyes were starting to brighten. They brightened a little bit with super strong, and a little more with special technique. He's not really going to fall for that, is he? Sakura whispered to Kakashi. They all waited for a tense moment. You'll be the only person in the world to currently be able to do this technique, she coaxed. There's a reason no one wants to master it. Sakura mumbled. Well, when you put it like that, Naruto said. He was sticking his chest out, and getting that entirely too pleased look on his face that often appeared when he was being praised. He's going to fall for it, said Sakura. He fell for it, said Sasuke. Great, said Tsunade. She threw him a hospital robe. Put this on, okay. Sakura, we need to prepare. 24 hours later, an exhausted female Naruto was discharged from the hospital. Take him home, okay? Kakashi told Sasuke. And stay there, at least overnight. Tsunade said it normally takes 2 weeks for a person to recover, but with Naruto's abilities it should be a lot faster. Even so, just to be on the safe side, I want you to keep an eye on him. We meet to develop a plan tomorrow evening. Naruto was barely keeping his head up as they stumbled down the street. Damn, he said, I feel so tired. Tsunade said you would. This sucks, Sasuke, this is like the worst stupid mission ever. Worse than the cat chasing? Worse than the babysitting? That caused a slight smile to appear on Naruto's face. Okay, well, at least this one is A-ranked. Right. Sasuke tried unlocking the door to Naruto's apartment for a moment before the blonde mumbled that it wasn't locked. Ah, said Naruto. I'm going to bed. He stumbled off. Sasuke looked around the messy living room. The blankets from when he'd slept on the couch the other day were still there. He sat down next to it. Something was blinking, he noticed. It was the phone, next to the couch. The little answering light was blinking. Curious, Sasuke pressed it. Kumiko-chan? Are you there? Beep. Kumiko-chan? It's me, Akira, we met the other night, and, beep. That guy who picked up the phone this morning. That wasn't your boyfriend, was it? The one you said dumped you? Because, you know, if you're having a problem with him, I could always help you out, and beep. Hi? I just wanted to call and apologize to whoever this is. I thought this was someone else's number, so, sorry. But, if this is Kumiko's number, you can call me back. I'm at 755-1032. Oh, yeah. This is Akira, from the other night, so, yeah, bye. Beep. Sasuke stared at the phone. He'd had some pretty extreme stalkers in his life, and this guy definitely rated a full 9 or even 10 points on the creepy and/or annoying scale. Luckily Naruto really could take care of himself. He leaned his head on the back of the couch and sighed. What was he supposed to do until Naruto woke up, anyway? He looked around the sparse living room. Couch, kitchen table, 2 chairs, a couple of empty ramen cups that still hadn't been thrown away. A stack of manga in the corner. He should have brought something to read with him. In the bedroom, 20 feet away, Naruto's head had already hit the pillow. The jutsu had thrown his body and all his hormones out of whack, and so his dreams were coming warped and unpleasant, not quite nightmares but not quite right either. He was standing in a field, in a clearing somewhere near Konoha, and an animal was stalking him. Or rather he was stalking the animal. He could smell his prey so clearly that he knew every move the little animal was making, every thought that went racing through its head as it tried to catch the scent of the fox, tried to turn, run, hide, and then he was upon it, on it, jumping down, catching the neck between his teeth, snapping, cracking, breaking with a satisfying crunch. The little movement stopped and the thing was dead and the hunt was over and the interest was gone. But he was still hungry and so he would eat, and then one of Kiba's dogs, or Kakashi's, a little nindog with its neck broken, and Naruto groaned, woke halfway up, turned and rolled over. But how could a fox catch a dog? He thought to wonder. But oh, no, this fox was very big, and a dog. Even a nin dog couldn't see it, couldn't smell it, and oh how nice hot blood on a cool evening, and a pleasant shudder went through his body. Something nice to take home for the kids. They are small still, but catch a live one in a few days' time and they can start practicing and learning. The image passed through his mind of kits that were not kits, but rather dangerous and evil, little balls of red-hot chakra and fire. Little live Rasingans ready to roll out onto the world. And curled around them was the shape of their mother, the evil Cheshire cat-like grin that was somehow most of what Naruto ever saw of the Kyuubi when the Kyuubi pressed its snout against the bars and snaked its chakra fire tongue through, trying to wrap around his body and… "Damn fox!" Naruto shouted, leaping back. "You see my memory?" purred the fox. "Oh, I like you in this new form." 20 feet away, in the living room, Sasuke heard Naruto groan again and wondered what to do. He could go and wake the boy up, he supposed. Sit by the bed, but that wouldn't help things anyway. Tsunade had said he just needed to sleep. And, he admitted to himself, just grudgingly, that seeing Naruto in that female form made him just a little uneasy. Not so much because Naruto looked hot like that, though he did, and that made Sasuke a little uneasy in itself, but because it seemed so wrong to put Naruto into any form that made him look weak, as though he needed to be protected. Not when Naruto was, hands down, the strongest person Sasuke knew. No one else could have tried so hard with so little encouragement for so long. Naruto moaned again. I wonder what he dreams about, Sasuke wondered briefly. He knew vaguely that Naruto was an orphan, like he was. He knew as well about the fox within. I wonder if, when he dreams, he has the same kind of nightmares, like me. Naruto slept for 16 hours. When he finally woke, it was dawn, and he felt as though he usually did, after any good night of sleep. Comfortably rested. It wasn't until he hauled his ass to the bathroom to brush his teeth, and casually looked in the mirror, that the events of the day before came rushing back to him. Damn wide jutsu. And damn Tsunade Baba for coming up with such a lame-ass mission for him to complete. It was probably revenge, he thought, for all the pranks he had pulled on her in the past. Lazily, he scratched his crotch, out of habit, it didn't feel the same, and wandered into the kitchen to find some breakfast. Sasuke was asleep on the couch. He noticed, surprisingly, it seemed the Uchiha was not a neat sleeper, because he had managed to kick his blanket one way, and his pillow another. And now one leg and one arm were hanging entirely off the couch, and the other arm was pinned under his body. That's gonna hurt when he wakes up, Naruto thought vaguely, imagining the pins and needles he would feel from a limb that had fallen asleep. Something about Sasuke looked vaguely different this morning. Naruto slit his eyes and stared. Maybe he just wasn't used to seeing his teammate asleep, but no, he'd seen that lots of times, on missions and stuff. Even though Sasuke was generally so anal retentive that he didn't really like it when people saw him with his guard down. No, it was something else, but he couldn't quite put his finger on what. The phone rang, and Naruto's heart skipped a beat. No one called him pretty much ever, but the other morning that stalker had called a lot. He went over to the receiver and picked up. On the couch, Sasuke was stirring. He must have heard the call too. How'd I act? Naruto thought nervously. Hello? He said, hesitantly. Hello? Is this Kumiko-chan? Speaking, Naruto said. This is, I don't know if you remember me from the other night, but… Akira? We met at La Maison Blanche? Oh, of course, Akira-san. He tried to put a little bit of relief into his voice. He was just winging it here. I heard your messages from the other day, I wanted to call, but… Naruto lowered his voice. He came back, you know? And I was so afraid. Your ex? Akira's voice sounded protective towards Kumiko, and menacing, all at once. I talked to him. He didn't. Oh, no, nothing like that. Naruto said, nervously. Sasuke had sat up and was listening to the conversation intently. I mean, I fought him off, and, got my neighbor to keep an eye out for him. I'm sorry, Akira-san, he hesitated, I just met you, I shouldn't be bothering you with all this. Not at all, said the sound nin, if there's anything I can do to help, tell you what, he continued, why don't we meet somewhere? I'm a pretty advanced fighter, you know, maybe I can give you some help. At the very least we can talk things over. Okay? Naruto looked at Sasuke and mimicked a shudder. Sasuke nodded, grimly. That sounds great, Akira-san. He hung up the phone firmly. Blah. Gross. Naruto said. Gross, gross, gross. Sasuke stretched, cat-like. What was all that about? The other day, he got the idea that I have this super possessive ex-boyfriend. I just went with it. Fine, Sasuke said, but don't make your story too complicated. An idiot like you will get confused over the details. Naruto glared at him. Just for that, he thought, I'm gonna make up at least 4 or 5 pointless details to tell this Akira guy today. Just to piss Sasuke off. I'll call Kakashi and tell him we've moved up the plan. For a second time, Naruto found himself dolled up, waiting at a restaurant for a man to come and sweep him off his feet. Today's outfit was something Sakura had run over. She had lamented that Naruto had not been able to negotiate a dinner date, thus giving her time to shop. Since the clothing was Sakura's, it was cute and stylish, but tight around Naruto's bust and loose around the waist and hips. This had put Sakura in a bad mood when she saw him try it on. He played with the soda he had ordered and tried to think of ways to look and act feminine so that his cover wouldn't be blown when Akira came. 2 tables over, Kakashi and Sakura had ordered lunch, and were waiting to see what would happen. Sasuke, who, it was felt, was too likely to be recognized by anyone from the sound, had been ordered to stay far, far away from the whole sting operation. Sorry I'm late. With a look that Naruto supposed was meant to be charming, Akira sat down beside him. I have to be careful wherever I go. You never know who might be looking for me. Oh? Naruto remembered his mission. The sooner I sweet-talk this loser into revealing all his pathetic secrets, the sooner I can drop this body and get back to normal. He opened his eyes very wide, as if he were frightened. People are looking for you? Are they dangerous? Akira nodded grimly. He had a tiny piece of tissue paper on his chin, as if he had cut himself shaving and forgotten to take it off. Very. But, this is Konoha. Surely you are safe here? He laughed. Some of the people looking for me are Konoha ninjas. He looked off, as if gazing into the distance. Those aren't the ones I'm worried about, though. Anyway, look at yourself. You're in Konoha, and you aren't safe from your ex-boyfriend. Oh, that's because. Naruto thought fast. He's a ninja himself, and very well regarded, whereas I'm just a waitress, so nobody takes me seriously. Oh, is it like that? Akira said. What's his name, anyway? Maybe I've heard of him. Naruto drew a blank. If he picked a random, fake name, Akira, who presumably had done research on the hidden leaf, would probably know it was fake. So he should pick someone real. Kakashi? But if the person he named was too strong, would it scare Akira off? After all, he wanted it to be someone Akira thought he could defeat. Shikamaru? Out. Neji? Out. Choji? Out, out, out. Lee, Naruto said, weakly. Rock Lee. Akira looked confused. I haven't heard of him. Well, Naruto prevaricated, he was injured a few years ago, so he's pretty much out of action now, but he's got a great reputation in the village. People see him as being a pretty great guy. And he is, in public, but in private he's totally different. He tried to look scared. Out of the corner of his eye he could see Kakashi, looking amused, and Sakura pissed off. Well, he thought, I did just start making up rumors about her boyfriend, Naruto thought. Oh, is that it? Akira looked pleased. Well, why don't I go and talk to him for you? He cracked his knuckles. Oh, no, you don't understand, Naruto said, desperately. We've tried all that, it's just, people in the village respect him so much, they see me as being the bad one in all this, and, why are we talking so much about me, and my fake life, he wondered. How can I get things back on track? I'm sorry, Akira-san, he said. Here I am, spilling all my problems to you, and I haven't even asked about you. Tell me more about yourself. Oh, Akira said, don't worry about me. Just think of me as, your knight in shining armor. Oh, Naruto thought. Great, my knight. I've got a plan, Akira told him. So? Sakura asked, once the freak nin was gone. What did he say? He wouldn't tell me. Naruto sighed. Just that I'm supposed to meet him again, tonight, at midnight, by the west gate of town. Wow, said Sakura. I wonder what he's thinking. Naruto glared. I think that's unfortunately obvious, don't you? Why did you have to pull Lee into all this, anyway? What if that freak shows up and starts bothering him? Kakashi nodded. Just to be on the safe side, Sakura, why don't you go and fill Lee in on everything that's been happening? You can spend the night at his place, too, just in case. Sakura flushed. Okay. She turned to go. Since she's occupied with that, Kakashi continued. I guess I get to be the one to pick out your next outfit? What are they doing now? Sakura groaned. Sasuke, and Kakashi were sitting on a rooftop, hidden by a chimney, and Sasuke was using binoculars to watch the progress of Naruto and Akira's second date. "They're still talking," Sasuke reported, emotionlessly. "Geez," Sakura moaned to herself. Sasuke was reporting on the same situation every time Kakashi asked him, giving no indication by the tone of his voice about how lame the entire exercise off. Kakashi was enjoying himself because he was requiring Sasuke to give running commentary. Obviously it wasn't even necessary, because Kakashi's nose was, as always, deep into his porno book. All Sasuke had said for the past 15 minutes was, "They're still talking." "Hey, let me see," she said, finally, just for something better to do. Wordlessly, Sasuke handed over the binoculars. Sakura peered towards the street below them. "Hey," she yelped, "they're not just talking." He's got his arm on Naruto's shoulder, and, wow, he's leaning in, like he's gonna, no wait, he just picked a piece of lint or something off Naruto's shirt. But he kind of brushed her boob while he did it. Now, that's trashy. If a guy did that to me, I'd swoon in ecstasy? Kakashi said, helpfully. Hey, she gave him a dirty look. On second thought, why don't you finish the lookout, Sakura? You clearly have more of a gift for description than Sasuke here. Pouting, Sakura went back to the binoculars. Had she just gotten tricked? Damn, this was the lamest mission ever. Hey, wait, she said, surprised. They're gone. Akira's brilliant plan to help Kumiko-chan, it turned out, was pretty simple. Akira explained it to Naruto in a few words, as they stood on the street. I'm leaving Konoha, Akira said. Tonight, I'd like you to come with me. Naruto felt his mouth falling open, and then his already overworked brain was forced to start spinning again. What should he do? He didn't want to have to go on a trip with Akira. He didn't want his spy mission, after all. He'd had to get changed into a girl, for goodness sake, to go to waste. Tsunade Baba had said that Akira probably had important information. But, he said, I want to get to know you better, can't we do that before you ask me to make such a big decision? Akira looked belligerent. I already know, he said, grabbing Naruto's hands and pulling them to his chest, that you're the one for me. He narrowed his eyes. I don't understand you to understand immediately, but soon, you'll see that we were meant to be together. Once we start moving you'll see. Okay, but, you know, I have to pack, and, tell my family goodbye, and, have a farewell party? What are you talking about? Akira gestured. I'm an outlaw, get it? From now on we're going to live totally free, away from all the ties of normal people. I can buy you new clothes. And you can send your family a note. Unless, his eyes narrowed dangerously, unless you don't want to run away with me. Oh, no, not that at all. I definitely want to. Naruto stammered, inwardly cursing. How is this all getting so out of hand? Now, Akira said, firmly, suddenly reaching down and picking up Naruto, bridal style, in a swooping gesture, let's be on our way. Damn, Naruto just had time to think. This totally sucks. It was very late before they reached Ensihubo village. They reached an inn, and Naruto was relieved when the landlady there gave the pair of them a very dirty look and then insisted that, in her properly run establishment, males and females who were not married slept separately. In the morning, Akira was burning with an excitement that was even weirder than usual. He spoke to Naruto in bursts while they ate breakfast in the inn's kitchen, beginning with his own life history and then generally moving towards more recent topics. It seemed a lot of girls had wronged Akira in the past. Though each one had hurt him indescribably, all the bad experiences hadn't caused him to give up hope that, somewhere, his perfect woman was waiting for him. Now, it seemed, everything in his life was finally coming together. So, Akira-san. Akira is just fine, the man murmured, touching Naruto's arm lightly. Naruto avoided shuddering. How on earth did Akira get such nasty gray skin, anyway? Okay, he said, priding himself on his self-control. How many people would have guessed that he could have been well behaved for so long? He wondered. He hadn't even tried to kill Akira when the man had touched his boob. Then, Akira, where are we going, anyway? Nowhere, for now, Akira said, his mouth full of scrambled egg. We're just waiting. Oh, Naruto thought for a moment. Who are we waiting for? The boss. Oh, who is the boss? Finally he managed to get Akira talking. Have you ever heard of the village of Hidden Sound? Yes, Naruto said. I know, they were Konoha's enemies. And the village was destroyed. No, that's what people think, Akira grinned evilly. Not think, moron, Naruto thought. I know. He had been there, and he had seen the village razed, the fire fueled by Sasuke's fire jutsu and by the chakra that had rolled off of Naruto, at that time, from the Kyuubi. The fight in which they had defeated Orochimaru had laid waste to all the land around them for several kilometers. The original village was destroyed. Akira said, and Orochimaru, our great leader, was killed, although we still don't know exactly what happened. But the new leader managed to live, and he has gathered the survivors around him. We are now building a new sound, that will be even greater than the last. And we have a secret weapon. Ooh, a secret weapon, said Kumiko, cooing. That sounds so cool. Yeah, it will be. The leader sent me to Konoha to gather information about the state of their defenses, and about certain ninjas there. I was the only one he could trust the mission to. He looked at Kumiko, obviously expecting a response. Oh, said Naruto, dutifully. Wow, you're awesome. Well, not really. Akira grinned sheepishly. Then why did you want me to say so, moron? Inner Naruto shouted. Anyway, I'm supposed to meet the leader here. He's been off doing some really important secret mission. Then we will head back to the new sound. Naruto nodded as if all this sounded just wonderful to him. Inwardly, he wondered. Just how much of a threat was this new sound, to Konoha, anyway? Hadn't Orochimaru been the only real threat? But Tsunade had said they needed information, and surely the identity of the new leader, and the location of the new village would be important. If they made it to the new sound, he could even gauge the strength of their forces, and see how dangerous they really were. He wondered where the rest of Team 7 was. Doubtless they had found a room in some other inn, and were watching him now, from a safe distance. He wondered if they could hear his conversation with Akira now, or whether they would arrange a meeting so that he could tell them what had passed. He ought to think of some excuse to go by himself, so that they would have a chance to contact him. A hooded man entered the bar. When Akira saw him, he straightened, and bowed his head, very slightly. With a smooth movement, the man came and sat down beside him. Naruto could not see his face. What's this, Akira? The voice asked. It sounded vaguely familiar. No, very familiar, Naruto thought. No, it was definitely. A new toy? Akira sounded defensive. This is Kumiko. Not a toy. She's my woman. The man laughed, coldly. You always say that. And, then, sooner or later, he drew his hand across his throat. You change your mind. Quote, don't listen to him, Kumiko, Akira said. Those other girls were sluts. You'll never betray me. Oh, no, said Naruto, his mind still reeling. He wasn't even thinking about Akira's Bluebeard streak just then. Kabuto, he thought. Definitely Kabuto. I think, Kabuto said, lazily, that we have business to discuss now. Kumiko-chan, was it? Could you please excuse us? Oh, Akira, Naruto whined. Can't I stay? I'm part of Hidden Sound now too, aren't I? He felt, rather than saw, the quick look Kabuto gave him. Akira shook his head, curtly. No, Kumiko. This is men's business. Oh, okay, Naruto said. Well, I'll go shopping. A little nervous that he had misplayed his hand, he stood up shakily. Aren't you forgetting something? Akira said. What, kiss me goodbye? His Kumiko facade might have slipped for just a moment. What? Quickly he covered. But, in public and everything? It's fine, Akira growled, taking Naruto's arm and pulling him forward. Blech, Naruto thought. I never realized that kunoichis who go on seduction missions have it so tough. Quickly he pecked Akira on his green-gray, scaly cheek. Okay, said Akira, happily. See you later. Yeah, said Kumiko. God, I hope not, thought Naruto. As he walked through the busy market of Ensihubo, looking for a fresh outfit to change into, he felt a soft touch on his arm as Sakura fell into step beside him. This one is cute, she said, tugging on a soft green dress with ruffles around the collar and hem. Naruto considered. Don't you think it looks a little like a Christmas tree? As the two girls apparently browsed the racks, he filled her in on all the details. Kabuto, Sakura said, with surprise. I thought he was dead. He fought with Shikamaru's team during the raid on Sound. Apparently he managed to escape, badly wounded. Shika always said he might have survived. Sakura's brow furrowed. Are they really a threat? Go and ask Kakashi what we should do. For now, I'm gonna assume we should keep going. We should find out what secret weapon Akira was talking about. Sakura nodded. What both of them were thinking, but neither wanted to say, was that Konoha was weak right now. The war with Sound had been a drain on their resources, and Tsunade was struggling to keep Konoha's standing among the other nin villages. They were in a business of cutthroat competition, and any little piece of information about their enemies could become essential. Naruto looked down the street, and saw Sasuke and Kakashi, apparently looking at books in an outdoor stall. Sasuke glanced at him, briefly, and then looked away, as if he didn't even recognize Naruto. Naruto and Sakura ignored the two men as well. Hey, Sakura, Naruto said, suddenly distracted by something. Doesn't Sasuke look somehow different to you recently? Sakura was surprised. No, I don't think so, she said. Why? I dunno, it's just, since the other day. I feel like, he's gotten really pretty. Sakura chalked. What did you say? Naruto scowled. Don't tell him or Kakashi, though. I'd never hear the end of it. Sakura made a show of looking at a pair of pink pants, while trying to think of what to say. Naruto, when you say, lately, do you mean, since you became a girl? Naruto frowned, trying to remember. Yeah, I think so. The other day, when I woke up, he was sleeping on the couch, and I sort of thought, he looked weird. Like a girl. She frowned. Like a girl? Well, yeah. What do you mean, like a girl? Naruto considered. Sort of, like, you might want to protect him, or… Something clicked in Sakura's head. She started to giggle. Sasuke's good looking, isn't he? Naruto scowled. He's a Nancy boy. Yeah, whatever. He's pretty enough that your temporary female hormones are reacting to it. Don't worry. Her giggling had progressed to laughter, and she was now shaking, almost doubled over, on the street. Over by the book stall, Sasuke and Kakashi were watching the two girls covertly, wondering what was going on. Hey, Naruto, did you ever think that all the girls act totally crazy around Sasuke? Yeah, Naruto said. You too, he thought. Well, now you know why. It's a physiological response. Even if you don't really like Sasuke, if your hormones start doing backflips every time he's in the same room, you can't really help it. Oh, said Naruto. That makes sense. It's not that bad, though. Sakura wiped the tears from her eyes. I kind of like this, she said. Now you can see where we've been coming from. Wow, Naruto thought. Sakura's scary. They split up. Naruto returned to Akira's hotel with a selection of cute outfits that were absolutely inappropriate for any kind of ninja running, jumping, or fighting, but which Sakura judged as fitting Kumiko's image. Sakura returned to the decidedly less nice hotel. After all, Konoha was on a budget hotel that she, Kakashi, and Sasuke were sharing. Sakura, what had you laughing so hard in the market today? Kakashi asked. Briefly, Sakura considered the promise that she had made to Naruto not to tell, but the story was just too rich. Listen to this, she said, this is hilarious. Sasuke, who had been on watch, came in halfway through her story, to tell Sakura that it was her turn to take over. He distinctly heard Sakura say, apparently, Sasuke's so good looking that even fake girls start getting confused. Slamming the door just loudly enough to get her attention, Sasuke stalked into the room. Sakura and Kakashi looked at him with surprise. Sakura shivered. Sasuke had definitely overheard her, and was not amused. He was giving off death rays as serious as the ones he had emitted during his time in Sound. Ma, Sasuke-kun, she said, trying to defuse the situation. Of course he would be pissed off. He hates hearing about how pretty he is. Your watch, Sasuke said. They set out the next morning. This time, Naruto had to give in to be carried by Akira. Kabuto was absolutely insistent that they move fast. They really were moving fast, going about twice the pace a normal human could have traveled, though a bit slower than Naruto could have managed at top speed. They were heading into a part of the country he didn't know well, an area where the soil was poor and where, as a result, there were few villages on the border with the water country. It was late in the afternoon of the third day of travel that they suddenly stepped out of the forest, and onto a plain with only small and stunted trees. The land was becoming very flat. Naruto realized with a start that it would be the very worst kind of terrain for Team 7 to follow on, because, with the flat horizon and little cover, one could literally see for kilometers. Of course they would manage, but it meant that they would have to stay further away, and take more risks than they would in a forest. The forest was, after all, a Konoha nin's natural habitat. It was where they functioned best. He didn't know that, When Team 7 had reached the edge of the forest, Kakashi had made a surprising decision. "Sasuke," he said, "follow them. Sakura and I will remain here." Sasuke nodded. "What? Why?" Sakura asked. "The terrain is bad. Having a team of 3 is harder to hide. It puts Naruto at greater risk. Also, I think Sasuke knows this area." He leveled a stare at Sasuke. Unfazed, Sasuke shrugged. "Also, Sasuke knows the sound. From the reports you wrote when you returned to Konoha, I think that most of them never discovered that you betrayed Orochimaru. So, there may be the chance for you to infiltrate the survivors. If so, watch out for Naruto and try to gather your own information." "I understand," said Sasuke. Also, Sasuke. It was always impossible to determine Kakashi's expression from behind his mask, but Sakura thought that his eyes looked serious. "This is a test, do you understand? By completing this mission, you can help to prove to the Council of Elders that they have reason to trust you. And by giving this mission to you, I am testing you." Sasuke nodded, picked up his pack, and headed out into the wasteland. Within a few steps, Sakura could no longer see him. A few meters more, and he was lost to Kakashi as well. "He's good," Kakashi thought. He felt both proud and a little depressed at the thought. Naruto spent the next several days trying to avoid Kabuto, and avoid being felt up by Akira, by turns. Both were difficult to do in an environment of very little cover. Akira seemed intent on letting Kabuto scout a little ahead so that he could hang back with Kumiko-chan. Kabuto seemed intent on asking pointed questions to Kumiko. Naruto was sure that Kabuto knew he was a spy. Thankfully, he did not believe Kabuto had guessed his real identity, which, if he did, would surely spell the end of things. Contrary to popular belief, Naruto could be serious, especially when it came to missions. He knew his own bad points, that he was a talker, that he was impulsive. He knew that pretending to be a girl, pretending to be anyone other than who he really was, basically, was not his strong point. The more he talked, the more likely he was to get found out, eventually. His best defense, he had decided, was just to keep his trap shut. The effect this was producing on the 2 former Sounds members was, as it happened, just what one would have hoped. Akira, who had more or less coerced or kidnapped all his former girlfriends in the same manner as Kumiko, was used to girls who were nervous or scared and spent a lot of time shifting around, trying to figure out how to either escape from or appease him. Naruto's behavior, odd under other circumstances, appeared quite normal to him. Similarly, Kabuto, who initially had been almost sure Kumiko was a spy, and was still watchful, was given very little become suspicious about again. Naruto watched him from a guarded distance as he made their fire for the night. That afternoon, as the sun had begun sinking in the sky, they had caught their first glimpse of a low ridge of rock, far away on the horizon. No one spoke, but he had known, from the way both the Sound Nin increased their speed, that this must be their destination. Surely they would reach it before the end of the next day. Kabuto had changed since their last fight with Orochimaru. His hair, formerly pulled back into a short ponytail, had been chopped shorter, and his arms and face were covered by an impressive array of scars. Surely a ninja who knew as much about poisons and healing as Kabuto could have made the scars disappear. He must have chosen not to. Naruto had never quite understood why Kabuto had stayed loyal to Orochimaru for so long. He must have recognized, as Jiraiya and others had often mentioned, that Orochimaru, while brilliant, was insane as well, that he used people only while he had a use for them, and killed, casually, those whose purpose had been served. Orochimaru had lusted for power. Kabuto, while working for Orochimaru, would only always have been a tool, forced to show absolutely loyalty, and given little room to breathe on his own. Why, then, had he stayed for so long? Had there been no way to escape? Did he have some secondary goal that being with Orochimaru had helped him to fulfill? Kabuto had not seemed the type to take on the role of a servant forever, willingly. Sasuke would have known the answer, but speaking to Sasuke on the subject of the Sound, or his time away from Konoha generally, was a taboo subject, especially after he had gotten so angry with a few Chunin who had made careless comments. Naruto was not afraid of angering Sasuke, but he realized that some subjects were best left alone. Kabuto had built the fire to a small glow, and removed loaves of bread from his sack, which he proceeded to put on stones by the fire to warm them. He was humming slightly, as if he was pleased about something. Something Akira had told him had made him happy. Naruto dearly wanted to know what that was. He was sure that, once he could get Akira alone, he could make him tell Naruto everything. Tomorrow, Akira said, coming up behind him, we will reach the new sound. You'll like it there. Okay, Naruto mumbled, not sure what an appropriate reply was. I have a nice room, Akira said. You can put up pictures, if you like, and decorate things. The other guys can be dangerous, but I won't let them mess with you. Sneakily, he had moved his hand to Naruto's knee, and began massaging Naruto's leg lightly. Blech, Naruto thought. He looked, instead, pointedly, at Kabuto. Not when he's around, he whispered. This was getting awkward. Akira was becoming more and more persistent, and now it seemed pretty clear that, once they reached the new sound, he was expecting to seal the deal. Naruto avoided sighing while the ugly fishman looked at him. He had discovered easily that, of the two sound, Kabuto was a very good watch, and it would be impossible to sneak away on his watch. Akira, on the other hand, was lazy. On that night, Akira had second watch, which was generally a good thing, because it meant that Kabuto would be tired enough to sleep heavily after his own shift was over. Naruto waited until a half an hour after they had switched and then slipped away. It was a moonless night, and luckily, as they were approaching the large rock face, a number of boulders had begun to dot the landscape. He had moved only a few hundred feet away from the camp when he heard the soft crunch of Sasuke's footstep in the sand. Dobi, said the voice. What are you doing? Asshole, said Naruto, by way of returning the greeting. I wanted to tell you that rock wall is our destination. The village is somewhere around there. Do you know it? Where are Kakashi and Sakura? Only I am following, Sasuke said. Kakashi thought 3 would be too noticeable. He paused. I don't know the village, but I heard rumors and sound of a place Orochimaru had discovered, a very large cave that he was making into a base. He never told me the location, but perhaps. Should be, said Naruto. When we reach there tomorrow, we will have the location. But what will you do? Kakashi suggested I might return to Sound, pretend to want to rejoin them. Kabuto knows you betrayed Orochimaru. Kabuto? Sasuke sighed. It wouldn't work. I'll wait somewhere away from the village and hide. See what information you can get in a few hours and then escape quickly once night comes. Why? Naruto asked. My identity is still hidden. I can stay undercover longer. Dobi. Sasuke spoke more sharply than he intended. He calmed himself. We already have Kabuto's identity, and soon we will have the location of the sound as well. That is enough. What about the secret weapon Akira spoke of? What about judging their strength, their members? Just from seeing the place, we'll be able to tell a lot. Sasuke's voice grew lazy. It was his way, he knew, of dealing with a difficult topic. Act as though it was very unimportant. Anyway, Dobi, haven't you realized the other reason why you can't stay in Sound? What? Asked Naruto, sharply. He was afraid that he had forgotten something obvious, that Sasuke would bug him over. The whole world's not as naive and innocent as you. Can't you see the way Akira's been leering over you? He has a bad track record with women, and if you go to Sound he'll definitely want you to sleep with him? Naruto cut in. I thought of that. Sasuke looked at him coolly. Dobi, so you see why it won't work. Why not? Do you think he'd be able to tell I'm not a girl? Sasuke felt like hitting Naruto. No, moron. Do you think you'd be able to go through with it? Naruto shrugged casually. Why not? It's not really my body. Granted, I'm not an expert, but I think all I've got to do is lie there. Are you an idiot? Geez, why are you getting upset? Is there really a problem with the plan? Sasuke rubbed his head. Yes, it's crazy. Oh, that's rich, coming from you. Sasuke felt himself getting angry. Sometimes arguing with the Dobi was like hitting your head against a stone wall. If Naruto hadn't already made his mind up, he could be easily influenced, but if he'd already come to a decision, you couldn't sway him, no matter how stupid or pig-headed the choice he'd made. In the back of his mind, Sasuke realized he should be grateful for the Dobi's ability to stick with decisions everyone else thought were wrong. After all, how else would he himself have been saved? Even so, now his decision was definitely wrong. I'm telling you this is a terrible idea. Well, luckily, it's not your decision. Moron. He felt his voice getting louder, and hastily brought it back down. He didn't want to wake up the camp, after all. The two boys glared at each other, and Sasuke felt his blood rising, felt an urge to activate his Sharingan and knock Naruto and drag him back to Konoha, if that was the only way to dissuade him. "I'm not gonna change my mind," said Naruto, calmly. "And you can't defeat me, especially not here when a fight would alert the enemy to our presence and ruin the mission." "Fine," Sasuke said, rudely. They stayed quiet for a moment. Then, Naruto spoke. "I don't know why you're getting so pissy over this. After all, Kunoichi do seduction missions, and they're sacrificing something real. This body is just an illusion, like I told you. You'd be able to feel it, won't you? And, anyway, Konoha stopped doing those kind of missions years ago. Plus, the Kunoichi who did them had special training." "Well, I'm improvising, excuse me." Sasuke groaned. "God, you're a moron." He thought for another moment. "Okay, Dobi, if you really want to do this, you want me to sleep with you first?" "What?" Naruto gasped. "No." Sasuke felt his eye twitch. "Isn't that what they used to do? If the Kunoichi was a virgin, she'd have a close friend or comrade take her virginity before she went on a seduction mission. Unless," he looked at Naruto. "You aren't a virgin?" Sasuke, I hate you." "Fine, I'm a virgin. I can't believe I have to have this conversation with you, and no, I absolutely do not want to sleep with you first. God, I think that would give me more nightmares than that creepy guy." "Oh?" Sasuke said coldly. Propositioning Naruto hadn't been exactly easy for him, either, and he thought that Dobi could have refused a little more graciously. "I mean, don't get me wrong, you're a good friend, and everything, but I kinda don't want to do this more than absolutely necessary, you get it?" "Kumiko-chan?" From the direction of the camp, Akira came towards them, walking carefully. Sasuke could see well at night, and Naruto had some benefit from the Kyuubi's eyes, but Akira, with neither, was relying on a flashlight to see. The beam fell across Naruto's face, and then Sasuke's, and Akira let out an audible gasp. "Sasuke-sama? You know him?" Naruto asked. "No," Sasuke said, curtly. "We never spoke." Akira said, "But of course I know of you. Sasuke-sama, who was being personally trained by Orochimaru-sama." His eyes narrowed. "You betrayed us." "Eat shit," said Sasuke, who suddenly found the tension of the previous few days too much and wanted badly to take it out on someone. He rushed to Akira, who Naruto suddenly felt a kind of sympathy for. The man barely had time to sink his body into a good fighting stance before the Uchiha was on him, slitting his throat so quickly that he didn't even had time to scream before his body collapsed to the ground, and blood began to spread in the sand. "Shit, Sasuke," Naruto hissed. "Was that really necessary?" "Dobi," said Sasuke. "Give him time to yell, and he would have blown our cover." Too late, came a playful voice from behind them both. Turning, they saw Kabuto walking out of the shadows. His hood was off, and he smiled evilly at both of them. "Long time no see, Sasuke-kun." They turned to face Kabuto. Sasuke and Naruto spread themselves so as to cover the greatest area. "Be careful," Sasuke hissed. "He's not that strong, but he has poisons, and weird jutsus. And I don't know how many of Orochimaru's jutsus he managed to learn." "Oh, don't be like that, Sasuke-kun," Kabuto said, still grinning manically. "Why do we have to fight?" "I think," said Sasuke, speaking through clenched teeth, "that is fairly obvious." "Oh?" Kabuto tilted his head. "You killed Orochimaru. I could take revenge for that. But I'm not a vindictive person. Sasuke-kun, why not return to the sound? There is still the opportunity to grow, to increase your power. I have a feeling Konoha must be boring for you these days." "Shut up," said Naruto. Sasuke thought he heard a note of desperation in the blonde's voice. Did Naruto really believe he could be convinced by such weak arguments? "Oh? I don't think we've been properly introduced, Kumiko-chan." Kabuto turned towards Naruto. Konoha must be getting pretty desperate to go back to those seduction missions the third so self-righteously put an end to. "You're a brave girl, I guess, trying to help your village." He turned back to Sasuke. "In fact, Sasuke-kun, what I could offer you is a partnership. What do you think? You can even be Otokage, if you like. Leader of your own village, even a ruined one like Sound, isn't bad. There are still nins loyal to Sound, and others as well, mercenaries who are hoping to gain something from joining our cause. We can come back." "I don't think so," Sasuke said, quietly. "Oh? But you haven't even heard the best part." Kabuto's eyes flickered wildly, and Naruto, watching, wondered if had only recently gone mad, or if he had been so for a long time. I have information, information that would die with me, if you killed me now, about Itachi. He saw, just barely saw, Sasuke's body flinch, when Kabuto uttered his brother's name. Oh no, Naruto thought. How easily that name could ruin everything. Sasuke cast a quick glance at Naruto. He caught the blonde's eye and then looked away from him. It looked as though Sasuke was trying to tell him something. But what, Itachi? Sasuke said, lazily. Dangerously lazy. As he became only when he was very serious. Kabuto nodded. Would you like to come with me to the village? I will tell you more once we arrive. And so Naruto found his hands firmly bound, and tied with a short rope that Kabuto held at all times. They traveled through the night, though what the reason for this urgency was, Naruto could not be sure. The village seemed to be, as Sasuke had described, a vast cave that had been carved and chiseled into a web of tunnels and rooms, doubtless an ideal place to hide even a medium to large-sized operation. The entrance was nothing more than a small hole, which, after a time and a few turns, opened into a large room, with a door at its end guarded by 2 strong men. Put her in a cell, Kabuto said to one of the guards, and Naruto was left, tired and frustrated, as he watched Kabuto and Sasuke walking away. What should he do? The look in Sasuke's eyes, he thought, at that moment, had seemed to say, trust me. Therefore, Naruto had not resisted being captured, and did not now resist being locked in a cell. I have believed in Sasuke for a long time, he told himself. I can believe in him a little more. In any case, it seemed that Kabuto had not realized who he was, and therefore the cell, while sufficient to hold an ordinary nin, did not look so strong to him. He could probably escape easily, should he need to. There was one thing bothering Naruto, and as he sat in the cell he tried to think through his situation, and wondered if the one secret he had been keeping from Sasuke would become a problem for him now. The secret was a big one. Before Sasuke had returned to Konoha, Naruto and Jiraiya had met Uchiha Itachi in a small town just inside the border to the Sand Country. There, they had fought, as they had in the past. This time, though, through some miracle, Naruto and Jiraiya had managed to find the upper hand. They had killed Kisame, and Naruto had managed to come very close to killing Itachi as well. It had come largely from recognizing Itachi's one major weakness, which was that the majority of his power was concentrated in his Sharingan. By that time, Naruto's ability to control the Kyuubi's power had improved, or perhaps the Kyuubi had just decided to cooperate with Naruto a bit more, judging her chances with him to be a bit better than if Akatsuki were to extract her. And he had managed to create a wind of chakra, like a knife, that swept across Itachi's face, destroying his ability to use the Mangekyo Sharingan in one quick, and, if Naruto was honest with himself, very lucky strike. During that period, Naruto had been improving very rapidly. Itachi had underestimated him. After that time, rumors began to surface that Itachi had left the Akatsuki. Naruto did not know the reason, but he suspected it was somehow related to their fight. A good medical nin might replace eyes, though the ways in which it was done were not always entirely ethical. Sharingan eyes, however, were impossible to get back. Or were they? There was, after all, one pair still left on the planet. Those belonged to Sasuke. Was it logical to believe Itachi would someday come to take these from his younger brother? Or was there any other way for him to get them? When they finally succeeded in getting Sasuke back from Sound, Itachi had been one more subject that was impossible to broach with the Uchiha. Naruto's fight with Itachi was classified anyway, for obvious reasons. He suspected that Jiraiya and Tsunade were the only ones who knew. He knew that one of the reasons Sasuke had left Orochimaru might have had to do with Itachi, with his belief that his older brother, having disappeared, might really be gone for good. In the face of that doubt, it had become unclear to Sasuke what he was still doing with Orochimaru. He did not want to tell Sasuke that he had, almost, beaten his brother. He suspected Sasuke might see this as a threat, or as meddling. He did not know how Sasuke would react if he discovered the secret now. But, also, he did not know what Kabuto's information about Itachi might be. When finally a guard came, jangling his keys, opened Naruto's door and unsealed the chakra barriers that were meant to hold him in, he was so relieved that he would be in for a change that he almost hugged the man. The guard tied a bit of rope to his handcuffs and ordered Naruto to walk. They went through an innumerable number of winding, cold stone passages, before entering a room that was well lit with torches, and warm by comparison with the rest of the cave. "Here is the girl, Kabuto-sama. Fine, put her on the table." One cool iron clasp went around his foot, and then he started struggling. With effort the guard managed to clasp his other foot, and then began to work on his hands. "You bastard," Naruto yelled. "What are you doing?" "Prisoner of war, Kumiko," Kabuto said, smoothly. "I need subjects for my experiments." "Arg, stop that, asshole, I'm not gonna, MMPH. The guard had stuffed a rag in his mouth. He tested the irons. He ought to be able to break them, but, damn girl's body. It was a little weaker than his normal body ought to be. Alternatively, he could call on the fox's chakra enough to melt the things, of course. Then his cover would be well and truly blown. "Now, don't worry, Kumiko-chan. I'm just going to put these drops in your eyes." Damn. He tried to call up all the chakra he could, but realized that there was some sort of barrier on the table. Kabuto leaned over, trying to pry open his eyelid. "And what?" said a cold voice, "are you doing?" From his position on the table Naruto couldn't see anyone who wasn't standing directly over him. He resisted the urge to yell out to, Sasuke. "An experiment," Kabuto said, simply. "If it works, after about 20 treatments this girl would have enhanced vision, similar to the Sharingan, like you." "Oh?" Sasuke sounded amused. "Is that something you distilled from my blood, then? Also your sweat." Kabuto sighed, rather melodramatically. "I wanted your tears too, but as I recall, you told me to go fuck myself." "And if it fails? She will go blind, or die." Kabuto shrugged. "I don't have a lot of test subjects, so research on this is going fairly slowly." "Well," Sasuke said, "it'll have to go slower, now, because you can't use this one." "I can't? Why not? I want her." "Oh?" Kabuto sounded interested. "What for?" "That's my business, Kabuto." He saw the man above him frown, and then, with a sigh, unlock one of Naruto's hands. "If you want her, Uchiha, I hope you aren't still feeling some misplaced loyalty to Konoha, though." As if, Sasuke's voice dripped with sarcasm. Kabuto paused. Then, with a deliberate gesture, he grabbed Naruto's free hand, wrestled it back into the manacle, and clicked it shut. Inwardly Naruto whined, "And I was almost free. I've known you for too long, Sasuke-kun. That argument sounds a little weak. Tell you what, why don't you kill this little kitten instead? Then I'll know that you're loyal, and give you the information about your brother you've been bothering me about." The room seemed suddenly to become very still, very quiet. Was Sasuke hesitating? Naruto thought frantically. He couldn't be hesitating. Sasuke wouldn't, and yet, Naruto thought, what Sasuke wanted more than anything in the world, what he had been willing to kill Naruto over, in the past, was a path to Itachi. "That sounds," said Sasuke's voice, sounding cold as Naruto could ever remember it sounded wrong. "Almost as if you were trying to threaten me." Kabuto continued to look, steadily across the table at Sasuke. "How dare you," Sasuke growled, "have the audacity to threaten me?" Still pinned, Naruto heard, rather than saw, the crash of bottles hitting the floor. Sasuke had pushed over a rack of Kabuto's specimens, with one broad stroke. He saw Kabuto grin, and he saw the kunai Kabuto pulled from his back pocket as he rushed towards Sasuke. This is gonna be a smackdown, Naruto thought, and felt a little annoyed that he was going to get left out. By the time he had managed to free his left hand, the lab was destroyed, and Kabuto and Sasuke had very nearly managed to spill foul-smelling things all over him as they went after each other. By the time he got his right hand undone, Sasuke's Sharingan-activated eyes were blood-red, and Kabuto's left shoulder was covered in blood, and the guards who had rushed to the scene when they had heard the noise had hastily retreated again. With his hands free, he managed to grab a dropped kunai, and was close to unlatching his feet when he heard Kabuto cough. A wet cough that a normal person might not recognize, but which a ninja automatically associated with a person whose lungs had filled with blood. "You dare try and tell me what to do?" Sasuke was yelling. "Listen to me, Kabuto, there is no partnership between us. You do everything I tell you, understand? I killed Orochimaru, that means I'm the one in charge here. I should finish you right here." Surprisingly, Kabuto seemed to like this turn of events. He was smiling, in a vague, creepy way that made Naruto's skin crawl. So this is what it's like to live in the Sound, he thought. Was it some kind of miracle that Sasuke had lived among them for such a long time without losing his humanity altogether? I'm going to my room, Sasuke said, abruptly. Have someone bring me the girl. Naruto felt shaken. He let the guards capture him, recuff him, and led him through a series of corridors indistinguishable from any of the others. Sasuke was never emotional around him, or the rest of Team 7. He was never emotional in Konoha. He hadn't even shown emotion when he had said that he would go back with them to Konoha. In fact, the only emotions Naruto had almost ever seen Sasuke express were annoyance and anger, and frustration mixed with the desire for revenge. To see Sasuke enraged at Kabuto, he shook his head, trying to push his negative thoughts away. The guards led him to a room, pushed him in, and shut the door. He stood for a moment, letting his eyes adjust to the light. Dobi, said Sasuke, coolly, ironically, you can stay here from now on. What if they're listening? Naruto said. They aren't listening, Sasuke said, carelessly. They're all busy being scared stiff. Sasuke was sitting on his bed. He had taken off his shirt. Beside the bed was a small table with a basin of water and a pitcher. He was using a towel to wipe himself off. Hesitantly, Naruto made his way to the chair next to the bed and sat down. Sasuke looked at him and sighed. When are you gonna drop that girly jutsu? Huh? I thought it was better if no one knew it was me. Sasuke shrugged. Sasuke, what happened back there? The black-haired boy looked at him, expressionlessly. I could explain, but I don't think there's any reason you need to understand. Naruto felt himself getting mad. No, asshole, you're gonna explain it to me. Because I need to know. He paused. I need to know what the hell is going on. Sasuke looked surprised. Just trust me, Naruto. Not. Naruto felt, to his horror, tiny tears forming at the corner of each eye. Furiously, he got up, and retreated to the darkened corner of the room, where Sasuke would not see. Not good enough. Sasuke said. Okay, fine. To be blunt, Kabuto is only happy when he's somebody's bitch. Naruto gaped. Not literally, moron. I mean, Kabuto gets off on being bossed around. What happened back there was me doing my best Orochimaru impression. That's what he really wanted. That's why he wanted me to come back, anyway. I just gave him what he wanted. Now, Sasuke sounded confident. I should be able to get him to spill any information he was, about anything, to me. I should even be able to get him to dismantle this whole operation, if I can make him think it's part of some larger plan. And is that what you want to do? Sasuke looked at him sharply. What do you mean? All of a sudden you've got an army of men. The remains of Orochimaru's experiments, his old scrolls and stuff might be here too. If they weren't destroyed at the original sound, you don't want that? Sasuke snorted. This crap? The men are losers, guys who don't have anywhere better to do. Half of them aren't even ninjas, just riffraff. Everything of true value must have been destroyed in at the old sound. Which, by the way, I destroyed the first time. Kabuto has totally lost it. He's a lunatic trying to recreate something that never truly existed. Sticking with these guys isn't. He looked at Naruto and paused. Of course we're going back to Konoha. Is it going to help you find Itachi? Naruto said. Is that what you were going to say? Sasuke sighed. He didn't like having these conversations with Naruto. It seemed the blonde liked to pry. And, for some crazy reason, felt as though he had the right to do so. This is why I don't like friends, he reminded himself. Friends think it's okay to get personal. I'm not gonna lie and say I don't want to find Itachi, he said, finally. I haven't given up on that, just put it on hold. He raised his voice. What else was I supposed to do, anyway? Itachi seems to have fallen off the face of the earth. Nothing about him for more than a year and a half. Orochimaru was a dead end. Even if I met him now, I'm not sure I'd be strong enough, to. Naruto sighed. He walked back towards Sasuke and sat down on the bed beside him. What if Itachi became weak? Then beating him would have no purpose. Even though what you wanted was revenge in the first place? I'd still kill him. It just wouldn't be as satisfying, you mean? Sasuke glared at him. What if someone else defeated him first? Sasuke glared some more. I don't know, Naruto. That would never happen. Now shut up. So what you're basically saying is, we're going back to Konoha, because that's still a better opportunity for you than staying here. Yeah, said Sasuke. I guess so. Is that so bad? Naruto held back a sigh. I thought I had gotten Sasuke back 6 months ago. But it seems I never did at all. They sat together, side by side on the bed, in silence. Sasuke felt annoyed. He couldn't see what he had said that was wrong. Despite that, Naruto seemed depressed. It still felt weird to Sasuke to see Naruto in his girly form. Long hair, thin arms, breasts. Not that Naruto hadn't been good looking as a boy, too. It had been Sasuke's foolish dream, long ago. The one he had repeated to himself, late at night, when he was feeling weak in the village of Sound. The one he would swear to himself never to think about again, at times when he was feeling strong. The details might change a bit, here and there, but the essentials were always the same. He had returned to Konoha. Or Naruto had left the Leaf. Itachi was dead. Somehow, they were together. Together, even though that was the kind of relationship Sasuke had never imagined while he had still been in Leaf. Well, when he had left Leaf, he had been only 13 years old. He had only just been starting to think much about it all, frankly. It was in Sound that he had first become aware of the possibility of a relationship between men. And the possibility had intrigued him. Right away he had begun to wonder about his relationship with Naruto. There was no other person on earth who could make him feel as charged, in a positive way, as the blonde when they were sparring. Women had never been attractive to him, so Sasuke began to assume that he was gay. He had even taken a lover for a little while. He had told himself that he had done it to forget Naruto. That a real physical relationship might chase the fantasies out of his head. He told himself that, but the Sound nin he had chosen to sleep with had been blonde-haired and blue-eyed, and there was absolutely nothing else that Sasuke could remember about him. Hadn't been as big a deal as everyone had made it out to be. After that little experiment, he had never wasted his time looking for it again. Then he killed Orochimaru. Then he went back to Leaf. And found Naruto, the same kid if in a slightly bigger body, still ready to spar and to joke around and to be Sasuke's best friend, but otherwise untouched by time. Still making the same naive come-ons to Sakura or the other girls. But somewhat seemingly ambivalent too. Somehow completely unaware of the huge tension that seemed to Sasuke to be filling the room whenever the two of them stood together. It looked pretty obvious that Naruto wasn't interested in men. That drove Sasuke crazy. How could Naruto not even notice him, when he spent half his nights jacking off to thoughts of the blonde? But realizing that it was hopeless was even worse. Naruto's completely all attitude towards him made him feel like a pervert lusting after a little kid. So he had tried to distance himself from his old friend, as much as he could, but still spending time with Naruto, as much as he needed to. It was a delicate balance. Okay. A farce, if Sasuke wanted to be honest with himself. If he really been ready to give up the blonde, he would have gotten the hell out of Konoha as soon as he realized how one-sided his feelings were. But, that comment of Sakura's had intrigued him the other day. Sasuke had always assumed that he was gay, because for as long as he had been capable of UAL feelings he had been lusting after Naruto. But Naruto in a girl form wasn't bad either. Surprisingly, Sasuke found his teammate attractive either way. And, apparently, Naruto in a girl form thought Sasuke was pretty. "Hey, Naruto," Sasuke said. "Huh?" It seemed the blonde was on the verge of drifting off. His legs were still dangling off the side of Sasuke's bed but his body was flopped over, resting. Sasuke heard a noise in the corridor. "Quick, I think someone's coming," he said, and lowered himself onto Naruto, allowing himself to kiss as much as he wanted. Groped Naruto's eyes opened wide. And then he caught the meaning of what Sasuke had said and went along with it, even letting Sasuke lift up his arms and pull off Naruto's shirt, which was halfway over his head by the moment when Kabuto walked into the room. "Oh," said the former Sound nin, amusedly. "You weren't joking, Sasuke-sama, when you said that you wanted the girl." Sasuke looked away from Naruto, glaring. "How dare you interrupt," he snarled. Kabuto bowed slightly. "My apologies. But I thought there was something you might like to see." Naruto sulked. Why was he left alone? Locked in Sasuke's room, and with an armed guard in front of the door. No less. While Sasuke got to go and look at all the cool stuff. The top secret awesome weapons that Kabuto was hiding? Oh, yeah, because Sasuke was the one playing the part of the super evil, super powerful Orochimaru successor. And doing a freakily good job of it, too. While Naruto was playing the part of the weak, sucky, captured Konoha ninja and damsel in distress. He was surprised to feel his own hand brushing his lips. He hadn't just been thinking about Sasuke kissing him, had he? Naruto frowned. Sasuke's hand had been on his boob too, which meant, if you wanted to be technical about it, that Naruto had now gone further with the Uchiha than anyone else. He shuddered. The scarier thing was, that it had felt pretty good. Stupid female hormones, he muttered. This must have been what Sakura was talking about when she said that girls reacted to Sasuke even against their will. How could he even be thinking that Sasuke was? What are you thinking about, Dobi? The bastard was back, leaning against the doorframe casually, smirking in a way that always particularly made Naruto's blood boil. It didn't help when Sasuke sauntered into the room, letting the door swing shut behind him. "Wait," said Naruto, feebly. "Can't you leave the door open?" Sasuke looked at him scornfully. "Are you a complete moron? The whole goal is to have some privacy. So we can talk. I sent the guards away, so they'll think that we're having." He said it so clinically that Naruto felt like an idiot. "Oh yeah," Sasuke smiled. On the scale ranging from true smile to smirk, this one ranked somewhere in the middle, and might have been described as predatory. "Hey, Naruto?" he said, just when Naruto said, "So, what did you see?" Sasuke frowned. "It's pretty bad, Naruto." "Really? How bad?" Sasuke considered. "Maybe not bad for Konoha. I mean, Kabuto's secret weapon, if you can call it that, strikes me as being so far off the deep end that, I dunno, it may be that he's totally just lost it." "Yeah?" Naruto was impatient. "So what is it? Do you remember that juice he was trying to squirt into your eye before? To give you the Sharingan?" "Uh-huh. Well, he thinks that with a few more test subjects he can nail it down. Then he's gonna give it to a whole bunch of mercenaries. Then he's going to use his army of Sharingan users to destroy Konoha and anyone else who stands in his way." Sasuke looked impassive. Naruto gaped. "I think he's really lost it." "Me too." He didn't even seem concerned when I reminded him that the Sharingan takes years of practice, just to learn how to activate. Sasuke stopped. "Regardless," Naruto said, "this is bad, though. Even if his world domination plan is entirely impractical, we can't let stuff like that get onto the black market. What if Akatsuki or even one of our allies got a hold of it?" "Yeah?" Sasuke said. He was impressed with the way Naruto was thinking, politically, almost like a Hokage. He had been thinking more about all the flaws in Kabuto's idea, not the inevitable fallout from it. "We need to work on a plan. And send a message back to Konoha." Sasuke nodded. "Quickly, before Kabuto has time to complete his formula. He's so anxious that he's using soldiers as guinea pigs now, not just prisoners." He stopped. Together, in whispers, the two boys talked long into the night. It was agreed that, in the morning, they would incapacitate the guards, allowing Naruto to go down to the dungeon, where the prisoners would be freed, hopefully creating enough panic for Naruto to escape back to Leaf in the confusion. Kabuto would assume that Naruto had killed the guards alone, and Sasuke would stay on, waiting for Naruto to return with reinforcements. If necessary, he could try to kill Kabuto and destroy his equipment by himself. Naruto had almost finally drifted off to sleep when he felt Sasuke's hand on his shoulder. "Hey, Naruto." That thing today, when we kissed." That woke Naruto up a little. "What, you want to try it again? Huh? Is someone coming?" Sasuke sighed. "No, Dobi. I just thought, I mean, you're a guy too, you must want to try it out. It felt good today, right?" Naruto looked at Sasuke, and groaned. "I guess so." "You guess so?" Sasuke's face was dangerously close. "Yeah," Naruto mumbled. "It did. And what if I do this?" Naruto squeaked a little. "Yeah, and this? Uh-huh." And that certainly gave Naruto a lot to think about. In fact, even as he was in the process of knocking out the two guards, and dragging their bodies into the closet, he was mostly thinking about the night before. Even when he made his way down to the dungeon and used his chakra to open the locks of the prison doors, he was thinking about Sasuke's tongue in his mouth. When he ran among the prisoners, urging them to overpower the guards at the main entrance, he was thinking about Sasuke's hand on his hip, and the feeling of Sasuke. He blushed, hard, brushing against him through layers of clothing. When he escaped into the wasteland separating the Sound Nin's hideout from the forests of Konoha, he ran faster, thinking about the way his breath had hitched up and the way Sasuke had held his hands above his head and his hand traced the line of hikis still left behind, right where the Uchiha had placed them. Sasuke waited. He sat on a broad chair engraved intricately with snakes, when he remembered being in Orochimaru's possession from long ago. Kabuto had brought it to him from somewhere, and, as much as it creeped him out to sit in it, it was still better than nothing. How long until you can complete the formula? He asked Kabuto coldly. Kabuto frowned. Any day now, Uchiha-sama. I promise. Your life depends on it, Kabuto. Sasuke smirked. Inwardly, he frowned. Maybe it was best just to kill Kabuto now. Naruto had been sure that he could bring reinforcements within 4 days, but it had been 5, and that was really pushing. From somewhere distant in the cave, they heard a crash. Moments later, a nin rushed in. It's the leaf, he yelled. He saw Sasuke and cringed with fear, but it didn't stop him from hissing, you betrayed us. Again, did you really? Kabuto asked, smiling, looking strangely happy. Of course, said Sasuke, and, leaping from the horrible snake throne, activated his Sharingan. Kabuto leapt back, into a fighting pose. Oh, why fight me? Sasuke hissed. Wouldn't you prefer to die by my hand? Kabuto's eyes narrowed, but Sasuke felt his resolve waver, just for a moment. You know, Kabuto said. When you do that, you do look so much like Orochimaru-sama, your wet dream, unfulfilled, Sasuke snarled. If you like, when I finish you, you can pretend it was him. Honestly, I don't know what's going on. Hinata, who was working at the hospital, had been asked to give her opinion on Naruto's case. She had activated her Byakugan, and given Naruto's body a careful going over. Said Tsunade. Sakura, do you want to give it a try? Baba, Naruto yelled. Can't you just make this go away? He lowered his voice. No offense Sakura, Hinata, but I don't really want to be your guinea pig. Now, said Tsunade, warningly. You want the problem fixed, don't you? Tsunade-san. Sakura was struck with an uncommon feeling of kindness for Naruto. That's okay. I think if Hinata's Byakugan can't find anything, there's no reason to think that I could either. Okay, fine, well, prepare to be impressed by my tremendous skill. For a moment, Naruto thought Tsunade was going to strike him, and flinched. Instead, she just put her hands on his abdomen, and began to release tremendous chakra. Ooh, wow, Sakura and Hinata were very impressed. Sakura even clapped her hands together. There you go, said Tsunade. Jutsu lifted. Tsunade-san. Baba. Hokage-sama. It didn't work, shrieked Naruto. A few hours later, and even Tsunade was running out of ideas. Tell you what, she told Naruto. Go home. We'll figure this out eventually, I promise. In the meanwhile, being a girl's not that bad, right? Naruto was about to disagree, when he looked at the line of faces in front of him. Tsunade, Sakura, and Hinata. Any one of them, on their own, was scary enough. No, said Naruto, weakly. Not that bad. Dobi. Sasuke, stop doing that. Why are you still a girl? It was near dusk, Naruto having wasted the entire day at the Hokage's office, trying to get his jutsu. He was now starting to think of it as a curse lifted. He had just been debating between going home, and eating cup ramen, or going to Ichiraku's, and eating restaurant ramen, when Sasuke had appeared beside him. Do you really have to be so sneaky all the time? Naruto gripped. Moron, this is a ninja village, remember? And I wasn't even being sneaky. You were just distracted. You're lucky I'm not an enemy nin. Yeah, whatever, wanna go get ramen? Sasuke shrugged. Whatever. They turned towards Ichiraku. Hey, you still haven't answered my question. Naruto looked at Sasuke warily. The Teme was definitely going to think this was hilarious. Tsunade can't figure out how to fix it. For now. Sasuke stared at Naruto. Are you serious? Yeah, you can start laughing now. He couldn't help it. His mouth started turning up at the corners, to his trademark smirk, and then to something a little wider, a real smile. Naruto was so surprised that he momentarily forgot to be pissed off. Hey, he thought, Sasuke looks really hot like that. No, wait, girl thoughts. Bad. He shook his head, as if, by shaking hard enough, he could make the weird ideas fall out of his head through his ears. What are you doing? Sasuke asked, curiously. He brought his face closer to Naruto's to examine him. Nothing, Naruto said. His life was already miserable enough as it was. It didn't need any more complications. The next morning, Naruto woke to the feeling of something warm, wet, and rather earthy smelling, dripping its way down his inner thigh. His first reaction was to ignore it, go back to sleep, and his second, on realizing what it was to wake up in horror. "Oh my God," he mumbled, as he made his way to the bathroom. There it was. Contrary to popular belief, he was savvy enough to know what a period was. Probably the same thing that was now making his abdomen ache, so much so that, otherwise, he would have thought that the Kyuubi was trying to escape. Through some miracle, somehow, somewhere, somebody was still on his side. He managed to make it to a drugstore, to buy some pads and some medicine, without running into anyone he knew along the way. Thank God Team 7 had the day off. Sasuke was waiting for him. "Again, you're planning this, aren't you?" Naruto asked. "Maybe, yeah, why? Isn't that obvious? You're a horn dog, so are you. So, let's do something about it?" It took Sakura almost a month from the time Naruto first tried out his modified Y no Jutsu before she realized that his being a girl was, in fact, a very bad thing. The tip-off came one day when Kakashi asked Team 7 to meet for practice. She noticed that Naruto and Sasuke arrived together, but didn't think much of it. She didn't even think much of the red mark on Naruto's neck, until Kakashi started making jokes that were a little too pointed even for her to miss. "A bee stung you, huh, Naruto?" the copy nin teased. "Or was it a rash?" Naruto rubbed his neck touchily. He looked annoyed, Sakura saw, but not embarrassed or even particularly concerned. Sasuke, on the other hand, was smirking. God, she loved that smirk. Sometimes his arrogance could be so attractive, but, she realized, today Sasuke was smirking for a reason. She didn't much like. "Oh no, they couldn't be," she thought to herself, and then, with growing horror, "Oh no, they definitely are." She remembered Ino Pig, a week or two after they had returned from the destroyed Sound Village, making a crack. "Now that Naruto's a girl, do you think he'll be competition?" And Sakura, "No way, he looks hot, but a boy that's gotten turned into a girl is still definitely a freak." But no, Sasuke. Her mind frozen, her jaw dropped. Sakura numbly didn't notice that Kakashi and Naruto had become distracted from their arguing and were staring at her. Sakura-chan, are you alright?" With effort, she struggled to restore her dignity. "Yes, Naruto, I'm fine. But how could they be?" She went out of her way to invite Naruto to dinner after practice. She definitely caught Sasuke glaring as they went off together. "Oh my God, Naruto," she asked bravely, because she had to start out somewhere, "what are you and Sasuke doing?" They had gone to Ichiraku, because that was where they always went, but for once Sakura had talked Naruto into sitting in the back instead of at the bar. She thought it was a little less conspicuous. "What?" Naruto tried to play it dumb for a moment, and then gave up. "You were listening to Kakashi, huh?" He leaned back in his chair. "It's not like it's a big deal, because I'm not really a girl or anything." You didn't?" Her voice faded to a whisper, and then died away. Naruto was looking at her, confused. Recklessly, she summoned up her courage. "You aren't sleeping together?" Naruto coughed so hard that he almost spit out his mouthful of ramen. "Gross, Sakura, no." She sighed with relief. "We were just, fooling around a little." It was her turn almost to spit. "You're what?" Naruto shifted uncomfortable. "Like I said, it's not a big deal. I'm not really a girl. We're not in a relationship or anything." He shuddered in an overly dramatic way at the thought. Sakura sat, almost frozen to her chair. A range of emotions flooded through her, white-hot anger, confusion. What the hell was Sasuke thinking? Naruto was an idiot, but Sasuke? Why would he do such a thing with Naruto, but not with? "Don't worry about it," said Naruto. "It's because I'm not a real girl that we're doing it." Sasuke wouldn't fool around with a real girl. That probably hadn't come out exactly the way he meant it. I mean, if there was a girl he liked, we would stop. And he would treat her really well. She tried to think, and, miraculously, the bits of thoughts that had been thrown up, into confusion, began to settle back into a distinguishable pattern. So it was what she had thought, after all. All morning, during practice, she had been thinking about how to address this. "Nay, Naruto," she said, softly. "You know I'm your friend, right?" Naruto looked at her, surprised. "Yes, I know, Sakura." She paused. "And you know? I wouldn't say anything unless I thought I should really say something." "Okay." He frowned. "What is it? You and Sasuke really shouldn't be doing this." He gazed at her steadily. His blue eyes looked murky, for once, and she saw that he was confused. "It may not be a big deal for you, like you said, but do you think it's fair to Sasuke?" He needs to meet a real girl, you know, one day. You guys are best friends, so he may be comfortable with you, but you aren't a real girl. Do you see what I'm saying? Naruto shook his head. As long as you guys are together, don't you think Sasuke will be less likely to look for a real relationship? And I think, she sighed, and momentarily felt almost proud with her own acting. He needs that. Naruto stopped shaking his head and nodded. Let me think about it, Sakura, he said. No, on second thought, you're right. I didn't really think about things that way before. You're right, we better stop. Sakura smiled. Thanks, Naruto, for not getting mad at me. No, thanks for saying so. I'm glad you felt like you could be honest with me. They finished their ramen in uncharacteristic chatter. Usually, Sakura found it irksome to follow Naruto's rambling conversation, but today she felt she owed it to him. Damn, Naruto said, as she slurped up the last of his noodles. I kind of don't know how to tell Sasuke, though. Sakura frowned. Just tell him you're not into him. Naruto blushed faintly. I don't think he'd buy it. She paused. Just tell him you thought it was weird, because you're both guys. Don't tell him the truth, because… Yeah, Naruto said, I sort of get it. Good night, Sakura-chan. She watched his form as he walked out of the restaurant. His hips swayed ever so slightly as he walked. When he squeezed past a man sitting at the bar, she saw how his breasts just barely touched the man's back, and the man shivered. He's not a girl, though, she thought to herself, stubbornly. And I don't want Sasuke ending up with him. Anyone else, but not Naruto. He turned away from Ichiraku towards the Uchiha quarter, and then, after a moment of deliberation, turned away and walked back towards his apartment instead. Going to Sasuke's place was too dangerous. It was better to break up in the morning, before training or something, when the Teme couldn't argue. But when he neared his building, he saw a faint shadow on the roof, looking down at him. Sasuke. Naruto sighed. What had he been thinking, anyway? He had been a teenaged boy himself long enough to know that guys had libidos. He stayed down on the street, put his hands on his hips, and looked up. We should talk, he said. Gracefully Sasuke jumped down to stand next to him. Talk? He said, suggestively, leaning in towards Naruto. Firmly Naruto used his hand to push Sasuke back. Just talk. From now on. No more of, he gestured vaguely, this. Sasuke looked surprised, and then his eyes flashed. Let's go inside, he said. Naruto nodded. Fine. He flicked the light on as opened the front door. Sasuke followed him in and flopped on his couch. Naruto sat down, across from him. So? Sasuke said. What is this? I thought about it. Fooling around. It's not really a good idea. So I think we ought to stop. Why? Naruto frowned, and looked at the floor. It's kind of creepy. I'm really a guy, and you're a guy, and one of these days I'm gonna go back to being a guy. I don't want to have to get therapy for the next 50 years. You didn't seem worried about that the other day. Sasuke said, flatly. Yeah? Naruto shot back. Well, I thought about it again. It's not a big deal, yeah, but it's not really good for us. Without thinking about it, he clasped his hand over his mouth. But Sasuke had already picked up on his comment. What do you mean? What do you mean, Dobi? Frowning, Naruto repeated Sakura's argument from earlier that evening, leaving about the part about Sakura being the one to give it to him. That's ridiculous, Sasuke said, flatly. If I meet a girl, I'll let you know. In the meanwhile, it's not an issue. No, it is, Naruto insisted. Just the fact that we're, might make you less interested, in looking for a real girl. Guys are horny for a reason, Maybe there shouldn't be a easy fix. Sasuke looked at him. On the surface expressionless, inside he was breathlessly reformulating what he wanted to say. Well, as far as I know, he said, eventually, casually, I don't think that's been the case at all. As far as I can tell, all we've been doing has been getting me worked up, and since we never go all the way there's no relief. That ought to just be making me more frustrated. Well, excuse me, Naruto snapped. So making out has been a big chore for you, huh? Sasuke smirked. I wouldn't say that, but I would say, if you want to stop doing this, you should at least let me do everything first. Naruto made a face. No. What's the big deal? Sasuke said. You said yourself, it's not really your body, you don't mind seeing what stuff feels like. Yeah, but that's, a little. What? Sasuke teased, lightly. Are you scared? Naruto snorted. Don't be stupid. Oh, are you acting like a real girl, now? Protecting your maidenhood? Naruto snorted again. So, I think that's fair. You think us making out is bad for me. I think it's fine, and I ought to know better what's best for me, anyway. But, if you think we should stop, at least let me put it in. Once, he watched Naruto's eyes. They really were windows to the soul, Sasuke had realized, and by watching them he could tell when Naruto's resolution was strong, when he was hurt but trying not to show it, and when, like now, he had gotten twisted up in a mess of tangled arguments and didn't know quite what answers were correct. Sasuke knew from experience that Naruto wasn't a thinker. His response to mental confusion was usually to make a snap judgment, whatever seemed easiest. Fine, the blonde snapped. Fine, we can fuck. Just don't blame me if it's totally awkward later. Sasuke had already started moving. Before Naruto finished his sentence, he was on his feet, pulling Naruto up from his chair, pushing him back against the wall. He started kissing him and felt Naruto's body relax a little, begin to lean into him. I don't know why, he muttered, in between kisses, you think I would ever be awkward. In the morning, light streamed through Naruto's bedroom window, and Sasuke woke a moment before the blonde, sleepily shaking his head for a moment before he figured out what time it was, where he was, and why. Naruto was still sprawled on the bed next to him, and a quick look under the sheets assured Sasuke that the boy-girl was still naked. Naruto, feeling Sasuke begin to move, opened one eye, lazily, and then began a magnificent stretch that made Sasuke remember all sorts of things from the night before. Casually he reached down and, pushing back the sheet, grabbed Naruto's breast. He rubbed it gently with his thumb. Hey, stop that, Naruto said. No more funny business. His voice was thick from sleep. Sasuke didn't reply, but bent his head down, and bit Naruto's, so lightly that it was barely anything, but he heard the blonde gasp. Smoothly he pushed his hand down, between Naruto's legs. You're already getting wet, he said, with satisfaction. Naruto tried to glare. Whose fault is that, just now? Well, we might as well take care of it, before I go. From lying together side by side, Sasuke rolled himself on top of Naruto, and positioned himself between the blonde's legs. Horndog, Naruto muttered. You're pretty in the morning, Sasuke teased, and began to move over the blonde. Sakura waited under the tree where Team 7 was set to meet in another half an hour. She was early, but she had found that she liked the sight, as it was a busy place in the village. Many people passed back and forth under the broad leafy branches of the elm, and she enjoyed chatting and catching up on the village gossip as they ran into her. Plus, there was always the chance that Sasuke would arrive a little early. With that thought, a soft thump alerted her to the fact that the young Junin had, in fact, arrived. Smiling brightly, she turned to face him, and saw a glare, so much fiercer than the one Sasuke almost always wore that even Sakura couldn't really write it off. Sasuke-kun, she began, hesitantly. You're early too, you, Sasuke said, short and angry. You are one meddling bitch, aren't you? I don't know what you mean, Sasuke-kun. Listen, you do not want to make an enemy of me. You get it, Naruto? Sakura quaked, and tried to think fast. It wasn't me. Oh yeah it was. No way. Naruto thought of all the psychobabble he started talking last night on his own, and you're the obvious candidate. He started. Sakura shook. So he knew. All that time, she thought that she'd really given up on Sasuke. In fact, she had never believed he would come back, and had thought she could move on to leave freely, keeping Sasuke as just a memory in her heart. And then he had come back, and proximity brought all the old feelings back, even against her will, and even her better judgment. So Sasuke had understood all those hints he'd seemed to ignore, all the little looks she hadn't been able to help but give him. Still, she could try and protect what little bit of pride she had left. I gave Naruto one argument, but I'll tell you the truth. It's not good for him, Uchiha. She used his family name deliberately. Bullshit. You can't manipulate me the way you do him. You, he spat out the words, don't want either of us to be happy. Naruto pining for you, and you pining for me, and me pining for him. You'd rather we go back to that same old triangle forever, wouldn't you? I'll tell you a secret. He leaned in, close to her, and she couldn't help shivering. I've liked him for a long time. A long time, he drew the words out. And I've finally seen my chance. So kunoichi who don't know how to mind their own business better learn. Fast. Sakura barely managed to croak out a question. How long? Sasuke moved back a step, and smirked at her. You could say I'm bi, I guess. I've wanted Naruto from way before he became a girl. But him as a girl is fine too. I don't care what gender he is, as long as it's Naruto. But you guys have just been playing around, he said. He looked annoyed. He may think that way. But I'm trying to get him used to the idea of a relationship with me. Naruto is skittish. That is just the first step. She would have been pissed off if she wasn't so scared. Sasuke, she muttered. You're not normal, are you? He smirked again. Oh, you just now noticed? He turned away and then looked back. Don't think of telling him anything about this conversation, by the way. Quickly he activated his Sharingan and flashed his eyes at her. Okay? He asked, almost sweetly. Deal, Sakura whispered, defeated. That's all for now. If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments.